Thank you for watching the Finance and Affirmations podcast. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you'll be alerted when I post new content. Enjoy the episode. Hello, Finance and Affirmations family. So on this solo episode, I'm giving you the second portion of the Investing Basics workshop. That's a workshop that I teach twice a month. And I do the workshop so that I can help people who feel like they don't know enough about the stock market feel comfortable in considering getting their own brokerage account. So hope you enjoy this second portion. All the information that I give you is for education, informational purposes only. If you do decide to invest or trade or what have you, you always do that at your own risk, okay? All I want you to do, though, is to start saving as much as you can, as soon as you can, all right? And one of the ways that you can do that is through the stock market, all right? And so the stock market has risen 1,100-fold over the past 70 years. All right. So even with the big ups and the big downs, I'm including the 2008 market crisis. I'm including COVID. Even with the big ups and the big downs, the market tends to go up. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention at all to the market, but over the last few months, the market has gone like really high. So even if you had just invested in the Standard & Poor's, and we'll talk a little bit about that, your account would have grown at least 9% since January. Okay, it doesn't mean it's going to stay high that way all the time, but it does tend to go up. All right. And so that's why I think it's important to invest in the market if you can. All right. So who has heard of the rule of 72 before? Anybody? If you have, you can come off and just tell me. So I'm going to assume you guys don't know. I didn't hear anybody. So the rule of 72, basically what it does is it approximates how long it's going to take money to double. So you all may have heard of compound interest. That is what the rule of 72 talks about. Okay, so if you had $1,000 that you put into an account, like Tasha said, she has one earning like 4%. If she just put $1,000 in that account, right? What you do is you divide whatever the interest rate is into 72, and and that 18 in this example means it's going to take 18 years for her account to double. All right, approximately. Right? If she put it in an account that earns 10% interest, 10 divided by 72 is 7.2 years. So it would take 7.2 years approximately for her money to double. Okay. And that is just a one-time investment. That's not putting $1,000 in and then putting a little bit in every month. That's just putting the $1,000 in there. Over that amount of time, that's how long it's going to take your money to double. And so the benefit of the market is you have the benefit of compounding interest. So when you put money into the market, the higher the interest rate that you earn, the more quickly your money is going to double. Okay. And so just imagine if you were putting that money into the market and you were putting a little bit more each month too, right? Imagine how quickly that would grow. All right. And so that is why, like we said, the market tends to go up. And you normally are going to earn, you hear a lot of things. You hear, oh, you're going to earn 5 to 7%. You're going to earn 7 to 10%. Sometimes people go up to 12%. Well, if you are earning those kinds of numbers, you see why it's easy for your money to double. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about what we've gone over so far? So one of the considered one of the most successful investors of all time is Warren Buffett. Okay. And so I show you Warren Buffett because he invests like I encourage people to invest. And so he purchased his first stock at the age of 11. He filed his first tax return at the age of 13. As of February 2024, his net worth was $134.8 billion with a B. 541.5 million was given to charity alone just in 2023, because he said his goal is to give away 99% of his money. And so I hope he finds me, because I will actually take that money. Yes. But Warren Buffett, he lives a simple life, right? He lives in Omaha, Nebraska. That's where he's always lived. Now, you would think if he's considered the most successful investor of all times, he would be living like on Wall Street, or, living in Manhattan, something like that. But nope, he keeps it simple. He still gets his coffee from McDonald's. He's not like into Starbucks and all that fancy stuff. And he owns several companies, over 60. A few of that you may know of are like a Duracell. He owns Dairy Queen, and a few more that you may know of. But his major company is called Berkshire Hathaway, and that is a real estate company. All right. So in 1964, Berkshire Hathaway, one share was worth $19 a share. Okay. And over this last week, that one stock in that company is over $600,000 a share. Crazy. Okay. Now, most stocks are not that expensive. All right. I cannot afford one share of Berkshire Hathaway stock. But had we as women, as people of color, had access to the stock market back in the day, just imagine if your grandparents or your great grandparents had known and were able to buy 5 shares of Berkshire Hathaway stock, right? They would be millionaires at this point. Okay. And so I always just like to say, when I teach this to my kids, I also show them a Black woman and a Black man, somebody that's also in the stock market that they can relate to, so that they'll know that this is something that they can achieve. And so one of the reasons that I talk about Warren Buffett also is because he is a buy and hold investor. Now, there's all types of ways to invest. You can invest in stocks, bonds. You can invest in cryptocurrency, futures, Forex. There's like all these different ways to invest. But he is really a simple investor, right? He invests in good stocks and he holds them, right? He holds them for as long as he feels that they're valuable. All right. And so that's the type of investing I'm talking about today. All right. I know you guys probably know this, but I'm going to a couple of people on the survey said that they weren't clear. So I'm going to just go through this really quickly. So when you have a private company, I always use this example. I'm in Minneapolis. The other person in Minneapolis, snow blowing is a big thing down here, right? So say you open a snow blowing company, and so you use money from, you use your own money. You use money from your family and your friends. You may get loans or what have you, and you're just doing your thing with your company, right? And then you decide, you know what? Well, I can only do this in the winter. What am I going to do in the summer, right? So you start to expand your business, okay? But you're still private. And so what private means is you're not publicly traded on the stock market, okay? You're getting all your own money. You're doing all your own stuff. But a company has the opportunity to go on the stock market and go public. And what that's called is an IPO, which stands for Initial Public Offering. All right. So why would a company want to go on the stock market? Well, if they go on the stock market and they put out several shares, which we'll talk a little bit about more in a minute, they can earn the money, say in one day, that they need now to go ahead and do like the research and development they want to do, to hire the people that they want to hire, all of that kind of thing. Okay. But while you're private, you're not publicly traded. But a public company, like I said, you would do an initial public offering. You can buy shares of that company on a stock exchange. All right. And so you can buy and sell shares of that company on a stock exchange. So that's the basic difference between a private and a public company. All right. So again, somebody did say they wanted to know the answer to this. So I'm not trying to insult your intelligence if you already know. So what is a stock? right? So typically, okay, that is the second portion. So let's do a quick recap. We talked about, of course, the market going up and down, and it goes up the majority of the time. One of the biggest things we talked about was compounding interest, and that is the rule that tells you how long it takes to approximately double your account. So that is called the rule of 72. We also talked about Warren Buffett, who is considered the most successful investor of all time. And the reason that I felt that that was important is because he really lives a pretty simple life, and he is a buy and hold investor. And that's the type of investing I'm talking about in my Investing Basics workshop. And the last concept I talked about was the difference between public and private companies. Public companies are traded on the stock market, private companies are not. So stay tuned to portion 3 of the Investing Basics workshop. I hope you enjoyed watching the Finance and Affirmations podcast. If you haven't already done so, click the subscribe button. Until next time, blessings.